Okay. Hello. Welcome, everyone. It's so great to have you guys here. Thank you all for being with us, with me today, and with us. We have a whole group of people here making this happen. I want to start out with just a couple of real practical things. This is going to be recorded, so after the event is over, if you just wait a little bit, we'll send you a link and it'll have the recording of the event today plus the guided meditation that we are going to be doing. Also, there's a chat box and you can find it on your Zoom somewhere. Sometimes you have to hover over the bottom. Sometimes it's at the top right, but you should be able to open the chat. And that way, if you have any questions or problems or concerns or just anything, you can also share with each other. That can happen in the chat simultaneously. There's quite a few people on the call, so everybody's going to be muted. We're not going to right now have a conversation and discussion. And it's also important because sometimes the mics give feedback out there when they're not muted. So you're kind of automatically muted to start us out. But again, if you have any questions, you can go into the chat. And so we'll give just a few minutes for people to come on. But I thought I would just mention that we're here at Ananda Village right now, and there's a little art room that's in the Living Wisdom Center. And one of the people with us today is an art teacher here and her daughter who is part of Ananda, and they're going to be playing with us just to kind of have it feel like a group. We're all 6 feet apart, more than, and lots of airflow in here and all. So this is a very amazing and interesting and powerful and profound time we're in right now. In fact, I wanted to mention that there's a very interesting astrology today for those of you who are interested. In East Indian philosophy, it's an auspicious day because the sun and the moon are both exalted. So the solar and the lunar energies are at their apex. And it's also a time when Pluto is stationing retrograde. So that's kind of interesting because it's giving us that powerful transformative energy. Pluto rules a lot of things from plutonium to deep alchemical transmutation. And so those are the energies that are around us and about us today. So I think we're going to go ahead now and start. And I'd like to start with just kind of a very simple body prayer. So wherever you are, just if you can, get up. And we're going to take some deep breaths and we're going to inhale and just reach up and stretch and make, I would like you to do this in a very noisy way if it's possible. Just make lots of noises. And then bend your knees and fold over and let go and just release down. And then curl back up and reach, stretching and down. Make lots of noise, stretch, opening, and releasing. And then we're going to bring our hands to our hearts in like a namaste position, greeting the divine within and without. And just take a moment to close your eyes and hold between the palms of your hand the intention for today, what it is that brought you here. And you may not even be able to name it. You're like, I don't know, I just felt like signing up. That's all right. Just hold the soul call that is behind that in your hands and breathe into your body. Feel that coming into now, coming into presence. And having this moment of intention and connection to source. However you call that, there's many names, 1,000 names for that divine being, that source that we all know and experience. And then just lift your arms up, reaching up, and then release the prayer like a bird flying high into the sky. And then pause for a moment and feel the energy of grace coming down like a waterfall of light. And just receive that, and then bringing your hands back to your heart, just drawing that back and feeling it come into your body and being, and just receive it. Again, we don't know what it is. There's not words for it yet, but we have received. As we ask, we are given. As we knock, the door is opened. As we seek, we find. And then just rest and release, and you can sit down if you feel to. I want to say a brief bit about materials too, because a lot of us are in places where we can't necessarily get to the store easily. Maybe you can order it from Amazon or some other company, but sometimes materials are hard. But more than that, there's something about the creative process that I really invite you to consider more broadly, so that everything around you that you might throw away or might be considered waste could also become part of what you can turn into your canvas and your materials for the creative process. So I ordered some paper for this event, and here you can see a piece of the box that the paper came in. And here is the receipt from Blick Art, and the back of it is a blank piece of paper. Here's a box that the markers were in. There you go. Not only is it art material, it's got a frame on it. Just to say, start thinking about how the materials around you can become part of your creative process. And we're going to later today have, a process where we're going to work with drawing, but later you might want to paste and collage. So you can save things like little bits of cellophane, you can save bits of magazines, you can start to have your own if you don't have it already. If you don't have a studio, start to begin to have one. And it can be as simple as a box that you bring out to your kitchen table. It doesn't have to be something really fancy, but there's something to creating an area where you begin to store and have a reference for your creative process. I wanted to also say a little bit about the time that we're in, the unique period of time. And I think for a lot of people, this is not an ordinary period of time. This is something that is a radical juncture between what has come before and what is coming after. It's an in-between period, a threshold period, an initiation period. There's something that has touched everybody on the planet in a way that few other events have. Even world wars before were not necessarily everywhere, and they were involving certain countries at conflict and others that were neutral or not involved. This touches every single person on the planet. And it reminds me, I don't know if some of you were around for this. I think I was 6 when they landed on the moon. And it was the first time that we had ever seen the planet from a distance. We had never seen Earth from outside of Earth. You know, it'd be like you never get out of your car and see what it looks like from the outside. And it was so powerful, and that image has touched everyone very deeply, just to see a beautiful blue pearl, a sphere of light and life that is floating in the vast reaches of space. Well, this is like that, this moment. There's something that is happening on our planet right now, and we're all feeling that. I think that's probably why you're here today, the title of What's Trying to Happen. We can feel instinctively, deeply, that there is something profound that is happening in this time period, and life will not be the same. This will be something that, you know, you're going to look back on and say, wow, where were you when that happened, and what it was like, what was life like before, and what was life like afterwards. And so even though there's a lot going on, and we will touch into that, our feelings about the immensity of, there's just a lot in our psyches, in our emotional body, and in the collective emotional body, I would like to just start with a little idea of reframing this time period, because it's easy to get kind of caught into the mode of thinking that's, oh no, I've got to take care of all these things, and it can be panicky, and like, will I have everything I need? And honestly, some people amongst us are really having intense situations of being home with children, or your family dynamic really intensified as you're staying home together, or losing a job, or being fearful about being able to have enough money. So I don't want to discount that. It's absolutely here. It's absolutely present and part of it. But there is a way to shift our framing of it in our mind that opens up territories that weren't possible before. Because the thing is, if you're only looking at the panic, the fear, the problems, the intensity, the emotions. Then there's a whole lot of area out here that just is not even available to you. The aperture is closed for it. You can't access it. So what we're going to hope to do today is open up the territory so that what we can do is we can access all of it. It doesn't mean we eliminate or deny the part that is taking care of us and saying, you got to get the groceries, you got to pay the rent, but we're not going to let all the consciousness compact down to that little cubicle. We're going to let there be territories that are bigger and broader than that. So I wanted to share with you a couple of reframings that I found on the internet that you may have seen and I really liked. Just to kind of, this is like a warm up. Let's loosen our mind around what's happening. So from quarantine, out of fear for self-protection, to quarantine, T-E-A-M, out of concern for our collective well-being. Try this perspective shift. Instead of seeing social distancing and travel bans as panic, try seeing them as acts of mass cooperation intended to protect the collective whole. This plan is not about individuals going into hiding. It's a global, deep breath. An agreement between humans around the planet to be still in hopes that the biggest wave can pass without engulfing too many in the vulnerable amongst us. That was from Lindsay Jernigan. From socially close and spiritually distant, which we've been for quite a while, to being socially distant but spiritually close. I think many of us are finding ways to connect with each other deeper than we have before, but not on the surface. And for today, and what I'm about in the work that we do with Transformative Arts, from shelter in place to artist in residence, artist in your residence. And I wanted to throw out a couple of the mythic ones because they're really fun. So reframing from self-isolation, which sounds boring, clinical, following the orders of the government, nobody will notice your efforts, to exiled for the good of the realm. Mysterious, sexy, everybody will want to know what you're doing. Shifting from, I can't get out because of the virus, which sounds weak and whiny and boring, you say, I've sworn an oath of solitude until the pestilence is purged from the land. So just play with that. Just play with the mythic reframing of it. Why? Why? Not because it's just a funny thing to say that we can laugh at, which it is, but it activates, it starts to open territories that are not accessible if we don't let ourselves dream and imagine. That's the power of the imagination and of creativity. Areas are readily available to us, but we have to access them. We have to allow them, and humor and reframing and just thinking about it a little differently is part of what lets us do that. And this is something that is very crucial to this transformative arts work. And it's the understanding that chaos, disorder, discombobulation, everything being turned upside down, the things that are happening right now in a collective, we know from doing this work for decades, from all the people who've been involved in it, that energy and experience of chaos and discombobulation and disorder and unknown, and I don't know what's happening and I can't see clearly and what is it, is actually a powerful, fertile ground. That is the moment of creative process. Creative process doesn't happen in the space of what you already know and everything's going fine and I've got it together and all my ducks are in a row and so I'm just gonna like do the next thing. That is rote mechanical reproduction. And you can play with art materials while you're doing that. But it's not necessarily the creative zone. The creative zone is a very alive space where things are sparkling and possible and terrifying and unknown and overwhelming and inspiring and like all of these things mixed together, popping around you. That is the territory of really powerful creative energy. So in fact, during this time period, the artists, the creators, and all of us are artists and creators, we can reclaim that. The past has been a period of time where that was sort of cut off because of cultural ideas that only artists were creative people and they were a separate group of people who could draw well. This is an era in which we know and remember and reclaim that every human being has an intrinsic creativity, an intrinsic life and vitality of imagination, and that each one of us is an artist, each one of us is a creator. And the secret of creativity is stepping into the zone of the unknown, the place where you have no idea what it is that's going to be. Because how can you create anything from the future if you have already figured out what it is? Because that's from the past. It only can come from the future if you're willing to go in a place that knows nothing. And so I just really want us to sink that in, that there's something incredibly, profoundly, powerfully possible in this time, in this moment, right here and now, not only personally, because most of us get time off, the ones that are here watching this, we have some time off, some pause time, but also collectively. Never has there been so much unknowing in the collective. Governments and organizations and all different kinds of fields of the people and the organizations and the systems that normally just hum along in ordinary, this is how we do it, this is what's happening, lots of unknown happening. So we are personally and collectively in a space of tremendous possibility, of undreamed of possibilities, of a fertilized ground, like the lightning that strikes the ground and fertilizes the soil because it breaks apart the nitrogen and allows it to come into the earth. That's what we're like. It's like the tower card in the tarot. It's this is it. And so how do we turn the breakdown, because it is kind of a breakdown, there's a dissolution, into the breakthrough? The breakdown can be a time period when everything just falls apart and goes down to a lower level of, we lose our civilization. We go back down to a dark age. That's possible. But chaos periods are also time periods when things can reform at a higher level, when things can evolve and emerge from it that are more complex, more elegant, more, both always complex and simple together. That's the next level, where it's a simplified essence, but it's including greater complexity, greater elaboration. So how do we make the breakdown into the breakthrough? And I want to share a couple of things, and we'll do them. And that has to do with working with feeling, working with emotional energies. And all of us are feeling a lot. And so I'm going to have us do an experiential for a few moments of just being able to feel what's present so that we're not like hiding from it or denying it or avoiding it, but breathing into it and feeling it. But also at the same time, we don't want to just go down the rabbit hole of all of those feelings and get lost in them. And so this is where this is really a process that is very much a spiritual process, a spiritual practice. We allow feelings, we're present with them, we bring them into our awareness, but we also bring in the blue sky. So that, like with meditation, they often use that image of the clouds are passing across a blue sky. And don't identify with the clouds. Don't try to get rid of them. Don't worry about them. The clouds are there. They're beautiful. Probably the sun's shining on them and there's colors. And who would want a sunset-less world? But we don't identify. We identify with the spaciousness that allows all of these things to pass through. So before we feel the feelings, open up to feel them more deeply, we want to establish a sense of spacious container so that all of these things are felt, but we're not identified with them and lost inside of them. And then also, that's what allows these emotions to become energy. And that's the creative process. That's the transformative arts process. These emotions turn into energies and they start to move through us. And then they can bring forth the hidden messages, the things that we don't know yet, the things that are being revealed to us from our soul. So that's an assumption that I'm making because I know it's true based on decades of experience. Your soul is trying to talk to you. Your soul has messages. Your soul has things to say. And we're going to, in this time period, allow that to happen So just to have this warm up, I'd like to have us go ahead and once again, you can stand or you can sit as you feel more comfortable, but we're going to close our eyes and we're going to just begin to open and breathe in your body. So take deep breaths. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale and exhale. And just let your body move a little bit. Feel like it's coming to life a little bit. And feel your arms and your fingers and your neck stretch out. Just begin to open and stretch a little bit. So feel like you're allowing your body just to be like clay that's been dried and it's now softening up and becoming more moist. And then just come to a place of stillness for a moment. And feel, breathe, feel. There's a lot of energies here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use movement to bring stillness and sound to bring silence. Because how we can listen to what the soul has to say is by becoming silent and still. But we don't just stop and get there quickly through saying, I'm going to sit down and be quiet and I'm going to be still. Like you don't start a painting by just staring at a blank canvas. You have to allow the energies to expand and move. And so we're going to do the same thing again, but this time I want you to bring more sound to it. Again, you can be standing, you can be sitting, but we're going to move out and we're going to make sounds and noises and tones and a lot of vowel sounds because that kind of warms it up. And this can be kind of like intimidating at first. You're going to might have to push through it to really get yourself vibrating the sound in your belly, in your body, and then moving your body out and opening wrists, ankles, knees, toes, elbows, everything. So let's try that. So let's start with just making some sounds. So breathe in. And inhale again. Now start moving at the same time. Your eyes can be closed if you want. Start dropping into your inner world, breathing noisy. Open your jaw. I want you to start making a few sounds that kind of go with the feelings that you might be feeling. And then shake a little and just let that release. Maybe stomp your feet. Ha, 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 ha. Make some ha sounds. Ha, 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 ha. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now make funny sounds, weird sounds. Whoa. Clearing the space. This is like smudging, okay? We're smudging. We're like getting rid of the cobwebs. Good. Okay. So yeah, now just keep the energy always moving inside. This is inside. We're going to stay like sea prawns, like these little seaweeds in the sea that is open to the energies. So we're not going to stop, but we might become subtle here. Let yourself just feel the space that you cleared out. Feel the energies in your body. And we're going to do a guided meditation, a guided moving meditation. It's going to have some images, it'll have a little bit of music, and I'd like you during this to just have your eyes closed and let your body move with it, with this words, with the images, whatever feels right to you, so that it's as if you're allowing this to be a bath that you're immersed in, that you're feeling the energies and you're allowing your body to be a vessel for those energies. And the guided meditation is going to take us wherever it takes us. And at the end of it, all you're going to do is come to your paper, wherever it is. I have it vertically so you can kind of see it, but you might have it horizontally, or you might like it that way. And then just pick up whatever you have gathered in terms of your markers, crayons, chalk pastels, pencils, whatever you have. And if all you have is a pencil and pen, haribol, that's awesome. You don't have to have anything special. And we're not going to represent our experience. So it's like if you saw dolphins swimming in the sea with rainbows, we're not going to come over here and go, oh, that dolphin, how do I get that? What do they look like? Let me look up on the internet. It's not an outside in. You're just going to come to the page and just let energies move. Let them express. If you're still feeling dolphin, you might express an energy of the joy of the dolphin. But maybe by the time you get to your paper, the dolphin's already a whale or a bird. And who knows, everybody experiences it differently. I don't want you to feel in any way that there's a comparison or a way that it has to be experienced. Some people see nothing. Some people experience very subtle things. If all you notice is your stomach gurgling, there you go, that's it. Your stomach was gurgling, that's the clue. Like we're basically kind of beginning to gather the clues of what it is that can inform our soul's voice, allow it to speak. A lot of times I use the metaphor of an archaeologist. An archaeologist is out in the field digging up stuff, and they find this little thing, and they're like, oh, look, you know, maybe it's a little piece of pottery shard, right? Well, they don't go, oh, well, that's not a whole pot. It's like, you have to gather all the pieces. You have to pick up the little odd things, and maybe one of the things you picked up wasn't even part of a pot. But maybe it's a jawbone, who knows? I mean, you don't know. So I invite all of us to be really spacious, because we are setting a sacred intention to receive a message, to receive what we need to know. And so just trust, whatever you get, that's it. That's it. That's the clue. And it's not the end point, it's the beginning point. So does anybody have any questions? Can you look at the chat and see, everybody clear on what we're doing? Everybody okay? If you have any questions or concerns before we start this, go ahead and put it out. I think we're good. Yeah, Christian?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll just begin by taking some deep breaths, letting the knees become soft, letting the body become open to the energy. Breathing. And breathing. And Christian, you're going to start it?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And so we're going to begin to imagine ourselves now in another world, another place, another realm in which we can enter into a journey. And so let yourself just begin to feel the body moving, feel the breath, feel the body, and softly dissolving your ordinary sense of reality, entering into the liminal state of the threshold of not knowing, breathing, breathing, and breathing. And letting this all be absorbed. Closing your eyes and feeling that inner realm start to sparkle a little sparkles of energy activated. And together now we'll go on a journey, an imagination journey, entering into the world within. Doesn't matter if you don't see pictures. Some people see, some people feel, some people hear. And even if nothing apparently happens for you, just follow along, listen deeply. And allow yourself to bring forth whatever it is that comes in response to the words, to the music, to the images.
Allow it to be a time of just arising and revealing. And so we'll begin by feeling ourselves moving through time and space, rising above the earth and its normal humdrum of activity, the earth and its peoples, the voices and thoughts, and letting yourself rise upward. As you exhale, letting go of the tensions and worries of this earth, and imagine yourself floating above, floating up into the sky, into the blue, into the clouds, into the sun touching the clouds. And feeling the warmth of the sun as you rise higher, and the coolness of the soft, white, billowy clouds, so that it's always delightfully playing between warmth and coolness in just the right way. And you're floating in that space, feeling the energy of letting things be set aside for a moment, letting things no longer be the ordinary reality, but awakening now to the inner reality. And we find that this cloud itself floats. And so find one that you feel comfortable sort of settling into, and let yourself, with this cloud, float across the sky, moving through the air and seeing the earth below from a distance, moving and turning. Let yourself move through space. Feel the wind in your face, the feeling of time and space moving. And as you do this, you're able to move through the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, the energies that you have been experiencing in your life, but no longer as outward content, particular thoughts, particular feelings, but as energies. So as you're moving, let your body also begin to move, and feel yourself releasing, processing, working through, but in an easy way, just letting it become energy inside you that moves and turns and twirls and reaches out, expands, curls in. Let your body do this now, letting your fingers, your arms, your shoulders move, your hips, your knees. A kind of dance, but a dance that comes from within. Let the body express. Imagine the feelings inside of you arising from places where they've been stuck, where they've been held, and they're starting to become more fluid now as you move, as the music moves. And in that fluid energy, it can ungrip itself, it can release. Maybe it has a color, maybe it has a temperature, and it moves through your blood and your bones and your body, and it just goes where it needs to go. It's no longer tied to tension, to story, to form. It becomes an energy itself. And this energy moves through you, and it becomes greater as you're moving. It becomes more full and resonant. And you can feel now the energies swirling, circling, cycling, spiraling, gathering up from all the places inside that have become stuck, and letting that energy unwind, process. And you might want to make sounds even if you feel to. And let imagery come as it comes, if it comes. Feel yourself floating, circling, spiraling, releasing the inner flood of emotion. Let the energy go where it wants to go, where it needs to go, trusting that as you do this process, the intelligence inherent in energy is cleansing and healing your body, your mind, your psyche, and your soul. The intelligence inherent in energy is moving through you, going where it needs to go, releasing what needs to be released. So let it flow, let it keep moving. Keep breathing, keep playing with the energy, allowing your body to be a vessel for this energy as it moves, a vessel of transformation, clearing and cleaning. And you notice that it's clearing not only your own internal private world, but also the energies and emotions and thoughts that you have been experiencing from others in the world, from the distress that is in the world at this moment. And as you move and as you surrender to the flow of energy, this too is processed and released without having to know particular content. It just becomes energy. And so not only are you cleared internally, but around you the field begins to be cleared. And you can feel the sparkling energy all around you start to become ever more radiant. It's like smoke clearing out of a room. The sky is clearing the pollution. The radiant sun shining, the blue sky deeper in its azure color, growing more vivid. So as you continue to move and express and release and stretch and dance and make noises and sing, feel all of these energies being processed, directed, guided to where they need to go, let go of, transmuted, transformed, becoming what they need to become. But none of it stuck anymore, none of it inside, unprocessed. Feel how this is moving through you now. And as you're doing this, begin to also draw in ever higher levels and energies of grace. Feel yourself opening up to the divine. Imagine a radiant stream of light coming from the sun, penetrating into your heart, into your body and being, into your soul and psyche, illuminating, making spaciousness. Breathe that in. And feel too even the light of the stars invisible in the blue sky. But with your soul vision, you penetrate out further into space and feel the scintillating light of the stars also shining and directing their light to you in this moment. And as this happens, the energy that is now free inside of you, flowing, lucid, begins to pattern according to a higher template, a higher blueprint. The energy begins to constellate on a more beautiful, wondrous level. So the energy itself, still full of vitality, energy, manifestation potential, is freed from the forms that had it inhibited and stuck, had it blocked and locked in ways that were old, tired and worn out, ways of the world that no longer serve, ways of your own life that no longer serve. So this light of the sun and the stars, sparkling, radiant, like touching the strings of a harp, they touch inside of you and activate the new frequencies, activate the new patterns. And you receive these without having to understand anything about them, just the energy, the vibration. Here they come. Allow them inside, allow them to start playing their song. Continuing to move, to feel free. to allow the energies to go where they need to go. Begin to let the body express the new energies, the new vibrations. How does it want to move now? Maybe differently. Follow that. Breathe deeply. Let there be discovery. Let there be experimenting, feeling and trying and playing like a child, moving with the new energies. And feeling now that they begin to really constellate inside of you. They become patterned, registered, recorded inside. Move your body in a way that allows this to happen more profoundly. Bring in the energies, sink them in. Anchor them in your body. Find a way to make them more vibrant, consolidated, coherent, amplified. Feel them, see them. Notice all of the sensations and ways of being that accompany these new energies. And as we move towards the end, coming towards the place of our completion, let the movement slow down very gradually, until it comes finally, in the next moments ahead, into a place of rest, an asana, a position in your body that holds the energy, a kind of yoga pose that you yourself invent in this moment as your body responds to the new energy. Take your time. And then take that position if you haven't already. It doesn't have to be the ultimate, it's just what it is in this moment. And breathe into it, become strong in it, become solid in it. Hold this asana as you say to yourself, yes, I accept, I allow, I am willing, I receive. Absorbing this energy, standing firm in it, saying yes to it, becoming the vehicle of a new way of thinking, being, seeing, feeling, knowing, a new world, a new vision. And in this moment, from this place, just receive whatever comes to you. Take the time now to receive it. An image, a message, a thought, a feeling, a picture. It is a gift. Receive it with gratitude. And now we're going to very gently and lovingly let this energy just be released. Gently moving your body so that you can come back into a grounded presence in this outer world. Taking some deep breaths, feeling your feet on the floor. Stretching the body a little bit, shaking it a little bit, moving your feet on the ground, and letting yourself land back into ordinary reality. But you are coming with something extraordinary inside of you. And this is not lost. This is yours. And how it will come forth in the days, in the weeks, in the months to come, we don't have to know. We just hold true to the energy, to the vibration. We remember it, we return to it, we feel it again, we reactivate it, we reverberate it, and we allow that energy, that divinely guided, divinely intelligent energy, to unfold what is ripe and ready to be brought forth in our lives at a higher level than we have ever experienced before. And we let this be so. We say yes to it, we welcome it, we commit to it, we allow it to be true. And so it is. And so we let it be. Om. Peace. Amen.
Staying with that energy as long as you feel to, absorbing. And whenever you feel ready, you can just intuitively reach for the colors or the shapes or the pencil, whatever you have at hand, and just start to play with the energies. Just start to feel like your body is continuing to dance with the energies that you felt. And keep your body moving, keep your knees soft, your shoulders open, your neck. Just keep a dance happening gently within as the outer takes form. Some of you might do one piece, some of you might do several pieces. Just let yourself continue to play with the energy. We're going to spend some time in this. Some of you might be completing one. If you have more paper, start another. Just let yourself continue in the flow of energy. It's also fine to come to places of just rest for a moment, sitting, closing your eyes and absorbing, and then perhaps feeling inspired to create again. We're going to be doing this for another 5 to 7 minutes, so you can just ride the waves, ebbing and flowing. Sometimes the energy pours out, sometimes it's time to rest, but just keep letting it flow. 5 more minutes. Last few minutes now. So if you need to go to the bathroom or get a drink, you can do that. We'll connect as a group in another 3 minutes. Taking these last few minutes to bring it to a place of completion for now. Obviously, you can work on it in the future. Just take another last minute. Bringing the energy to a gentle landing. Finishing touches for now. If you're like me, this could go on for hours. And then beginning to draw the energy now inside, like the breath of Brahma, breathing out in creative expression. Now just draw that energy inside for a moment. Feel all those energies scintillating, sparkling, and then bring your awareness back to the core, to the center. Just observe, allow yourself to reflect, observe what that was like, what feelings came through, what energies were present. And then when you open your eyes again, I'd like you to just begin a little bit of connection with your piece by feeling its energy with your hands and with your body. So, for example, here you can see I'm just going to use my hands to follow some of the energies I see here. And I might bring my body into it a little bit and just feel the energies. And I also might bring in some sound. Like right here, I feel like there's this little... And this feels more like whoa, whoa. And this feels more like... So play with that. You can be in front of it and use your hands interacting with it. You can also take the piece and bring it into your psyche and just become that energy. Become the expression and let your whole body explore what that's like. So we're just kind of reconnecting the kinesthetic that gave birth to the visual. Now we're going from visual back to kinesthetic just to integrate it for a moment. So try that out. You can use sound, movement, connecting to what's there, just exploring it as an energy again, taking its... Exploring what's present, just feeling the energies that are there, allowing your body once again, like we did in the guided meditation, to be a vessel, a conduit of those energies, so you can feel them now moving through you. You can feel the red or the orange or the yellow becoming streaming energies through your body, whatever the shapes are, whatever the colors and expressions are, just embody them in your body, them. In your body, them. Oh. And let your imagination and your kinesthetic intelligence just keep feeling into this. What energies are they feeling like? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it strong and bold? Is it quiet and barely perceptible? What is there? Are there words? Maybe there's none. Sometimes there are. Yes, no, flow, go. Whatever comes, just see. Phrases might come to mind, or body phrases. I am opening, I am opening. Ah, stretch, 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 stretch. Ooh. Take another moment to do that, and then we'll bring that to a completion. Feel the energies like before, like the breath of Brahma. The creative energies are going out in expression, and now you're just drawing them back in. And there it's almost like you can sort of have that taste of the palate. Taste there of what that was for you. And take a moment just to receive, close your eyes, and receive with gratitude whatever it was. Maybe it was more or less than you expected, different, the same, doesn't matter. The attitude is of gratitude. How can we receive what we just experienced with an open-hearted soul? And see if there's any message that is ripe in this moment for you. And then when you open your eyes in a moment, let's take a few minutes to write something. You can write it in the chat and share it. You can write it on your own computer or on a piece of paper. Just let some words flow about this experience. We're going to just make that leap from the visual and the kinesthetic to the verbal. But the words can be mythic too. They don't have to be what I did for my summer vacation. It can be cloudy skies bring rain, throbbing sun, whatever inner energies. Just let yourself write a few words. Or if you got a message, or if you felt something like, I don't know what it was, but the red was sure strong. Or that pink, what is the pink? I don't understand it. Just write for a moment. If you want to share anything, you're welcome to. Just taking a moment to reflect, to crystallize, and see if there's a phrase that you can hone in on, like, Priya, I welcome into my life the realm of mystery. Susan's small explosions. Those are beautiful. Just share maybe those little phrases, a little encapsulating phrase. And maybe there's a lot of territory, but you're just going to, in this moment, pick one little sparkly seed that comes through for you. So everybody take a moment to find that sparkly seed, the place where you feel the most energy happening. Somewhere or maybe on the piece you feel the energy, in the writing you felt the energy, and there was a phrase. Christian, can you read some of the phrases you're seeing?
Pastel clouds, puffs of candy floss. Expansive and shimmery. Pulsing, shining, exuberance. Ecstasy blooms radiance. Bursts of yellow amidst cooling and calming blues.
Beautiful.
My inner wisdom sees beauty all around me.
So if you haven't created your phrase, just consolidated that phrase, do that now. Take a moment to have your little shard. Remember, this is the little piece of the pot that we find out on the archaeological dig. And this is something that I'm inviting you to take with you as a seed into this day. And as you go out into this day, you'll start to look for the rest of the pot. And the rest of the pot might be a piece of a bird that you hear when you walk outside. It could be a message that comes to you from a friend. I'm inviting you to make yourself a receptive vehicle the rest of this day, if not the rest of your life, but for sure today, as receiving the messages of the soul. And what you have done is you've created the first conduit. The lightning rod is now in place. You've opened it up. Not all the information comes through, and it certainly doesn't come through as, linear left brain directives. Like, well, the answer to your equation is 47.5, and you need to go to the office, and, it's not that kind of directives that often come through. Sometimes they may. You might get a really particular, sense of guidance. But I want you to take this little shard and work it and allow it to be magnetic. Think of it at the center of a constellation that's now beginning to form. And it will magnetize the things that you're going to need to fill that picture out. And so take that phrase, take either the whole piece or maybe some part of your drawing that you did, and hold that in your psyche and body and being. And I'd like you to now, in this moment, invent a body prayer that goes with that, like something that could be a mudra, could be something like this. I'm open and I'm holding the space. Or I extremely throw open the gates of all past limitation, whatever it is, whatever your phrase is, find something that now makes a connection. This is very right brain here. We're going to make a connection between the image, the kinesthetic asana, and the phrase. So everybody do that now. You might want to stand up so that your energy is more available for movement. And find the phrase and the body position and hold the image that you expressed and bring it all into one. And let's make that phrase, the phrase can evolve, it can stay the same or it can evolve, but let's make it into something that feels like an affirmation. I willingly open. I willingly open. And then repeat it to yourself. And Christian, can you unmute everyone so that we can hear, we're not going to hear any individual, we'll hear each other. Just unmute all. And then let's hear ourselves say that phrase repeatedly 3 times, and play with the body till you find the place that can cause the question. I wish I
open myself to all possibilities. Open myself to all possibilities.
Receive my transformation. Allow it to fountain.
Myself
Ever given.
in myself.
Allow myself
Receive.
to work
Allow it to fountain.
open myself,
Receive my transformation.
all possibility.
I allow myself to allow me to allow myself to allow
Open
myself to allow myself
I am open. I am open. I am open. All possibilities.
Let that down. Space of breathe in, vibrate inside. It's been
I am open.
vibrating that
The light always sparkles.
Possibility.
Yeah, that's great.
I am open to all possibilities.
My little baby boy.
bring it and bringing your energy and attention upwards to the spiritual eye, opening,
freedom.
and receive the flow, the cascading flow of grace into this moment, and feel the penetration of spirit and matter, your prayer, your soul message, the grace of spirit, the presence. Holding these together in your body and being. Letting that affirmation keep vibrating inside. It's not going away. It's strengthening as it interiorizes. It's becoming stronger as it becomes silent but reverberant inside. Close your eyes now and allow this to be the seed, and allow your body and being to be the soil. In this moment, we declare this new reality that is just like the grain of mustard seed, a tiny little speck in this moment. We know inside is the mighty tree. And so we give attention, energy, love, acceptance, gratitude, all the nourishments of water and rain and sun. And we say yes to it, and we allow it to be planted, brought forth in our lives. If we don't know yet, that's okay. We have done the planting of the shining seed, and it is ours now to trust and to follow, to be guardians of its unfoldment, to be guardians of its gentle, sweet, and silent processes. And so as we close the experiential part, we'll have a few moments at the end for questions and other things. But as we close this experience, let's together say a prayer of blessing and speak that blessing to yourself and to each person here. Imagine that you are praying for the strength and the courage to bring this forth for yourself, and you are also praying for the strength and the courage for all of the people who are here with us today and in the future. And we'll unmute again, and we're going to chant a few times this beautiful ancient Sanskrit syllable of Om, which is the sound of creation, the sound of the vibrating worlds as they come into being. And as we chant that and allow it to move through our bodies and share it vibrationally, we allow it to constellate ever more clearly, ever more deeply inside of us. So let's go ahead and do that now, activating a blessing for ourselves and each other. So you're sending it out to others, you're receiving it. Oh. Continuing to reverberate. Sound of Om. And perhaps silently you say a prayer for yourself in closing this process for today. And receive the blessing. Thank you so much for being here today. It's a little taste. I'm going to be putting more online, and you'll get information about that when we email you the recording. We're also going to email you the guided meditation without the music so that you can listen to whatever music you want to listen to with that, but you'll hear the words. So if you'd like to repeat that and do it again, you can. I'm also going to be I'm mindful of the time, so I'm going to bring it to close for our experience now, but I'm also here for some questions afterwards. So if any of you want to stay on for any questions, but you can also type them in. Anything that's a burning question now, you could type it into the chat, or if you just want to type into the chat anything you'd like to share or say to the group, now is a good time to do it. Can they raise their hands, Christian?
It's in 3 different screens, so they can, but I'll have to go back and
Oh,
forth with
okay. It's too many people to see all of you for a raise the hand function. So if you have something, you can type it, and we can answer that. But otherwise, I hope you experience something today that's a little opening, that if you will stay with it, it's like when you first light a match and you're trying to start a fire, you have to stay with that tiny little flame. You have to keep blowing on it and keep the paper coming or whatever it is that you're starting with. Only after it's really going for a while can you walk away and relax that the fire is going to take care of itself. So in the beginning, a lot of these messages are very soft and subtle, and we have to honor them. The other thing that can sometimes happen is even after you've walked away from here, later today, something will come to you because you've opened the channel, and it doesn't always come in the same moment that you've opened the channel. You'll be walking along, oh, that's something that was triggered by what happened this morning, but it doesn't always happen in the same time zone. So if you will put your art on the refrigerator, so to speak, keep it up where you can keep interacting with it. Let the process stream through you again as you're reflecting on it in the day. You'll find it will continue to unfold. But how was it for people? Was it working? Did everybody give me a hand sign? Good. Okay. This was real new territory for me. I was, as you can ask my friends here, she's like, I should have brought you rescue remedy. I was kind of nervous. So do we have any questions, Christian? Are there anything that people are writing?
No questions yet. One person mentioned if everyone can hold up their artwork. So
Oh yeah, thank you. Can everybody hold up their artwork? I love it. Can you? Yeah. Let's come and look. Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you. Wow. Oh, thank you, whoever thought of that. That is brilliant. I love it. It's so fun to see. Wonderful expressions. And I tell you, one important thing that keep in mind in all of this is to always say yes to your work. Don't let that adult come in and go, oh, I don't know about mine, or someone else's is better, or I should have had. Just go yes, because look at that. These are glorious. They're wonderful, wonderful expressions. Let's give a big, unmute everybody, and let's do a big round of applause for this great work, okay? Woo! Well done. Well done.
Woo!
I accept that.
Oh, unmuted. So, okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody. This is the end of the show for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good to see so many
Namaste.
friends, too. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come here, you guys. 6 Chris, come here. We'll say goodbye.
Bye.
Until the next time.
See you soon.
How to get off of this?
Oh, to get off, you press end meeting on the bottom right corner.
Maybe also, I don't know if people can hear me right now, but
Yeah, you can.
this is a first thing you're doing, Dana, and it's really exciting. And I think there's a lot of room for all of us. We are the pioneers of this movement for her. And so to maybe take a second and think about feedback you could personally email to her of what worked and what could be even better would be a really beautiful gift for Dana.
Thank you, oh daughter of mine. All right, we're gonna sign off now.
Hi. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you all.
So cute.